A single given person's thoughts and actions can differ from one another because of the wondrous phenomenon that occurs between our heads called a conscience. The ironically mindless amygdala, telling us to keep our hands outside of the cookie jar. To maybe even lock the cookie jar up more, to hide it deeper in the darkness. A great decider of what's right and what's wrong. An ego.
Bidding you farewell. But don't turn your TVs just yet, folks. If you stay tuned, the Brainwave Symphony will soon resume. All you need to do is breathe.
Case 2-A. Room tone. This story begins with a rude awakening. On the 20th of January at 2:47 a.m., the third-floor residents of the Capeside apartment buildings called in a noise complaint after having their peace thoroughly disturbed by a bone-chilling scream. When asked for specifics, they stated,
"It sounded far away, but it came from all directions. It sounded fake."
Discerning officers were sent out on assignment to investigate, but after a while, no new developments in the case had been made, and the consensus surrounding the incident was one of apathy. A byproduct of the city, a freak accident that boggles the mind and nothing more, until today, when a letter labeled murder was sent to the press, and the city of Good Hope took note. Staring into the warmly lit hotel lobby, onlookers look on and speak in hushed tones, as curious minds fire back to polished memories of old detective novels. You see, police work can be a morbid affair, which is why most serialized cases play up the level of fancy. Whether it be a midnight stakeout or a rooftop chase, these misadventures for justice are the pinnacle of what we call capers, and do so in a relatively distinguishable rhythm. The setting is fictional, and the dangers are hypothetical, allowing a consistent structure to be easily identifiable. But the City of Good Hope is unlike no other. The optimism of its name only matched by the absurdity of its conflicts, and at the center of its most recent of conflicts is us. I cannot confirm case details at this moment, no one's been murdered. Currently hiding from the press behind a shield of a car, the desperate search for the right words lead us to believe this a punishment for our previous omission. Hence why our own reflection won't look us in the eye. Just get it over with. It seems a barrage of questions is not a good mix with uncertainty. As we escape the cold into the fan-shaped lobby, embarrassment rolls over us like a tide. If this is supposed to be easy, I'd hate to see it get hard. As if in response, a member of the hotel staff hands us a room log and an impossibly long ring of keys. Okay, thank you. The curious thing about a case such as this, our characteristic yellow tape not only allows us to clear space, but also denote every piece of interest, and that includes every wing and room inside. This is gonna take a while. Indeed. Our notepad flips open once again. First things first, create a timeline. About a month ago, the first of many complaints started to muddy the Capeside apartment's already ancient reputation, only to garner the wrong type of attention once our scream was heard. A pretty fatal attraction. By and by, days pass and the investigation peters out, until BAM! On the 29th of January, an unmarked letter dripping with mystery is found by the Good Hope Gazette, and plastered across any TV that will bear its theories, putting another, bigger, rack-focused spotlight on this case. All the better to end a struggling detective's career with. But that's not gonna happen. We punch a period into the paper with grim defiance and look for our next course of action, surveying the empty lobby with newfound curiosity. Okay. Beginning our ascent with one of the two lobby elevators, the chrome doors regard us with a cold indifference. Smooth surfaces, clear as silver, illuminated buttons, and an ever-present hum reminds us of a forgotten unease. Ooh. The sound of machinery builds to a point as we reach the third floor. Next up, evidence. The Capeside apartments hold 3 floors with 36 rooms in total, 15 of which are currently occupied. Well, were occupied. The reports given from dispatch indicate the scream was isolated to the 3rd floor of the building, allowing me full access to the rooms in response. Yoo-hoo, anybody home? Please don't answer. A tedious response. The layout of a place familiar to many yet distinct to few. A T-shaped room, fit with minimal furnishings, carpet floors, a radio for entertainment, and a bed cramped in the far corner. A home. The notepad flips open, ready for a lengthy inspection. Room 301. Nothing of note. No dead bodies. Room 302. A broken light switch in the living room, otherwise fairly clean. No dead bodies. Room 303. Heavy with perfume in a way I can only describe as porn-y, no dead bodies. Room 304. Numbers lining the walls and a DVD copy of the TV show Lost. Exactly 0 dead bodies. Room 305. Lived in, but well organized. A family of 3 and an unfinished picture puzzle. They really should have done the corners first. No dead bodies. Room 306. What I hope is the aftermath of a party clutters the space. No dead bodies. Room 307. No dead bodies. Room 308. Otherwise well kept, but the radio was left on and I can't find out how to turn it off. Aha! Our excitement was cut off by the words on the radio staring up at us. Peace of mind. Cool. It seems our investigation has not gone completely unfounded. Our first clue, a testament. Not a dead body, which is a great start. The worn dial beckons for investigation.
If you know it's a trap, it's not a trap.
We flicker between frequencies, making light of our case. The Good Hope Gazette, the Sunnyside Forecast, sitcoms. Household names fit firmly into memory, but one lays out of place. Station 404.7, a broadcast named Brainwave Radio, echoing a sentiment of meditation to sharpen the mind. And that's all.
What am I missing here?
We turn the volume up and listen still to the vaguely familiar sounds, more eagerly and presently, taking note of the distinct. We become acutely aware of our own heartbeat and the little hairs inside our nose. Faint creaks from the building's foundation draining with the wind. The corners of our view blurring in our periphery. And soon, we begin to get dizzy.
Jesus Christ!
An adorable little kitty cat breaks us from our trance and graces us with its presence.
Oh, I hate cats.
Seemingly searching for something, the feline paused for entry at a storage closet. Looking up at the door in turn, we infer something unsettling. Not unlike a shadow, the thought of someone watching us seems a lot more plausible through a thin copper peephole.
Wait.
We rush to the last room on this floor with purpose. Floundering with the key ring, we open the door with a slam.
Police!
Our voice rings out like a warning shot as we cast our eyes across the cramped shelves of supplies. But it seems our chasee has already left the small room, the sound of window shutters betraying their flight.
Oh, come on!
With no intention to fall behind, we climb the fire escape in spite of ourselves. Frigid wind steals our nerves and steps creak with each movement, as if bearing an impossible weight. The outline of the city framing our actions in a daring light.
This is so cool!
Reaching the top of the staircase, we emerge onto the roof of the building. Searching for a suspect, we aim to question, and come to what can no doubt be a clue. Newspaper cutouts, held down by bricks, pristine in isolation. Splayed out with purpose, and when perceived from the right angle, tell a story of a broadcast gone wrong. A single name standing out on the page, Bruce Vibrato. Who? To be quite sure of our current situation, we press dispatch with a query, but are met with radio silence.
Hello?
It seems our transponder is primed to receive a message, yet no news comes through. Taking in the clues with newfound caution, suddenly a sound begins to emit from our transponder, putting us off balance. It tests our mental defenses, searching for a gap to exploit, and eventually gets the better of us, sending the stars spinning as we hit the stone with too hard of an impact. The world slips away, darkness enveloping us as we retreat into our mind.
The commissioner's men came to collect my caseload this morning, and I had nothing to give them again. I make no money for myself, though I am always writing in my notepad searching for a clue. I get no sleep at night, but I can't. Not until I find him. On every database I've searched, there's a gap, an empty space where someone should be. Was he a secret spy, or a government official? Was he even real? Perhaps he's lost and wandering like me. Dispatch wants me to give it up, but how can I? I think I see a pattern in the problem, hidden in the mess. Is it a taunt or a beckoning? Would I be able to tell the difference? I ask the other officers about him, but they avoid me now. They say they're busy, but I know they think I'm too naive or crazy. It seems they won't have to suffer me much longer because I might just fail this case too.
For what reason did we become a detective? For the thrill?
For the focus.
For the fame?
For the victims.
For ourselves?
For the greater good. My ego is not a factor. It can't be. Just treat it like a picture puzzle, slowly coming together. Solve the problem one step at a time. First step, wake up.
When we come to, our knees ache against the cold stone.
Ow.
But in a brief moment of solace, the sounds of the city drift to us on the night air.
I can do more with half a brain than most competent detectives. So, let's game it out.
The pain in our legs does not keep us from standing all the same.
For some unknown reason, you wish to ruin the reputation of the Cape Side Apartments and do so in a big way. So, you fill their reviews with noise complaints and then send a mysterious message to the press. A devious gambit has clearly worked wonders. Why?
We link the investigation together like the frame of a puzzle, the corner pieces fitting together the easiest.
Rooms clear out and exposure goes up. Great, but you don't have forever in your 15 seconds of fame, so you have to get crafty. How do you capitalize on people being afraid? You solve what they're afraid of.
A means for motive begins to focus into view.
Brainwave Radio, a way to relax from the comfort of your home, takes advantage of the Cape Side's old age and gains an audience for the first time in a long time. An isolated audience. An audience that wouldn't think to check a service cart for the sound of a woman screaming. I can do this.
Yes, we can. Taking a second to consider the placement of this clue, we gather these clippings in unspoken favor from our mysterious helper.
I'm gonna find you. I swear it. Until then, thanks for the help.
What happens next is the product of regained confidence.
Housekeeping, open up!
Armed with a supply closet full of supplies, going undercover was the obvious choice to suss out our perp. Donning a duplicitous disguise, we take on a mirror of duty. Confidence rolls over us like a tide. Taking in each room with careful consideration, the confusion comes to an end when we reach a door that betrays its true nature. A door labeled Room 404.
This is it.
Steeling ourselves with a breath, we knock on the door with purpose.
Housekeeping.
The words leave a deafening silence in their wake, so we take matters into our own hands. The door creaks open into a lightless space, gloom filling the room to such a degree that we can't make out the walls for the darkness. But we face the unknown all the same. Stepping onto braided cords that line the floor, we feel for the light switch, eventually illuminating an imagined view turned reality.
Brainwave radio.
Cramped into a living space, a setup for transmissions similar to the one in the precinct peeks out behind velvet curtains. After the first encounter chasing a perp, we now know to be on our guard. An eye for detail scans for any indication of life and rests upon a soundboard labeled with tape.
Lo-fi beats and woman screams.
Whilst taking in our surroundings, a memorable meow pierces the silence, and the cat we had met earlier begins to navigate the wires with ease, heading to something with purpose.
How did you...
Timelines, evidence, and webs of human emotion all channel into a single thought.
Here's what happened. After the advent of television, there were broader and broader shifts in the landscape of media, and one such casualty was the bygone era of radio and its many forgotten broadcasts. Brainwave Radio, a controversial station set upon the ideas of relaxation, its growth was comparable to the problems that arose around it, and after grappling with financial strains and pushing a broadcast to downright attack its listeners, the defunct station disappeared just as quickly as it started. The public promptly forgot about the channel for stress, and it faded into obscurity, for everyone except for you. An ironically stubborn host, Bruce Vibrato, cat in tow, now found themselves at a run-down hotel. Suffice to say, the wound was still fresh, so he devised a plan that would thrust you back into the public eye. The people of Good Hope, they didn't know it yet, but they needed you. So, initially, you start small. Using the in-house radios of the hotel staff, you would create a commentary of constant noise complaints around the Cape Side apartments and ramp up from there. A woman screaming couldn't be ignored, the problem and solution hidden in plain sight. But for the second time, as if mocking you, Good Hope moved on too fast. Not good enough. So you send a message that dare not be denied. Credit where credit's due, a letter labeled murder is the definition of an ill omen, and an enticing story to boot. An apartment complex beset by all manner of predation and lawlessness, now the star story of any program that can get their hands on it? Congratulations, your gamble worked. Your reward? A recently demoted detective who's got no patience for narcissists.
Completing our dialogue, we finish our slow circle around the table, following our new companion doing likewise in the other direction, resolving in a throne-like leather chair that our target now no longer hides behind.
You're under arrest.
Case closed. In the days that follow, a number of changes occur for ourselves. By not fumbling such a followed case like was expected, our demotion was a short-lived one.
Yes!
And the search for our mysterious helper continues with a newfound fervor. The newspaper's placement, another favor to understand.
Awesome.
Also, because of extenuating circumstances and general human compassion, we have a cat now.
What? No!
What do cats eat? Where do cats sleep? Is such a beast one you can tame? What can only be described as a mystery by any other name?
Please get down.